5548, dash drive.
Turn off the vehicle right now! Turn off the vehicle right now! I want to see your hands! Both your hands! Both your hands! Do not move! If you make any movement, that'll be your last mistake you're going to make. Do not move.
5548, and I.
Want a gunpoint. Driver, with your left hand, open up the door. Won't you unlock it then for me? I ain't worried. I got my gun on you. We're all good here. Step out. Okay. Go ahead. Take it off. Take it off. Try something.
Sir,
Step out.
I have my three.
Who else is in the vehicle?
I have my. Trying to talk. I have my 3 kids in the car.
Okay.
And the reason why I did not stop is because I'm in the middle of nowhere and my husband tell me not.
Your excuse means nothing to me right now. I don't want to hear it.
You asked me.
That good. Good.
You asked me a question.
Cool.
That piece of garbage police officer down in Tampa, his name is Jason DeSue. In fact, he's a former police officer. We can get into details why in case you haven't figured it out yet. But apparently his gun is already locked in on this woman who's getting pulled over for speeding there. We'll get into more details about that as well. But he was immediately, if you saw, before he was halfway out of the car, gun was absolutely drawn. And he's okay, I'm fine, I got my gun on you. If you notice all these taunting things that he's saying to this woman, he continued on because he wasn't done with his gun or his berating. Let's watch more.
Awesome. You want to turn around for me? Yeah, awesome. All right.
And my 17-year-old, my 10-year-old,
Okay.
and my 1-year-old.
Cool.
I've never been pulled over like this before.
You don't know how a traffic stop works?
Yes.
You don't know that a vehicle's behind you with license signs for a mile. You're not going to move over?
Sir, are you?
Stop.
I'm pregnant, sir. I'm 4 months pregnant.
Okay.
The only reason
How am I handling right you right now? I have you in handcuffs, right?
I know that.
Okay,
the
cool.
only reason why I'm trying to tell you the only reason why I didn't stop. I'm a married, educated woman.
Okay.
With a master's degree. I swear, Lord knows I'm not doing. I was only not because it's dark out, and I have 3 kids with me. I'm pregnant, and I did not want them to feel uncomfortable.
Cool.
That's why I put my hazard lights on.
And then all that is shady. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
That's understandable.
And now I got them coming.
It's
Because it's a big old thing you had to make
I
of
did
it.
not mean to do it.
Cool. Awesome.
You can check everything, anything you want to check.
I am. I'm going to. But I wish I would have done that over there. I could have given you a warning for speed and get you on your way.
Absolutely. I'm just telling you why. Because
I don't care about why. Just shut up.
Yes, sir.
About the why.
Yes, sir.
Don't care about the why.
Former officer DeSue has anger issues. And when someone's talking to him, apparently he likes to scream and yell at them and tell them, you don't tell me nothing like that. I don't want to hear any more excuses, as he's asking questions of who's in the car, which are, by the way, are 3 children, and she's pregnant, in case you couldn't tell from that. I'm trying to take this slow, you guys, because as I was watching this yesterday, I was raging as he's mistreating this woman constantly. Well, fine, I know, I see it. You see the way he's treating her. So of course she knew that this was gonna be the case. By the way, in case you couldn't hear the conversation, she was speeding. He put on his lights in the middle of a dark, desolate area, and she decided to drive until she got to a well-lit convenience store and pulled over in a parking spot. Because that's the signs of a fugitive that's running from the law and is ready to shoot you in the face, right? Anyway, she knew he was gonna overreact, so she told one of her kids to record from inside the car. This is one of the heartbreaking parts, because this is what her kids saw and were talking about as they were watching this.
The reason why I did not stop is because I'm in the middle of nowhere and my husband tell me not to.
Your excuse means nothing to me right now. I don't want to hear it.
You asked me.
Good.
You asked me a question.
He told her to step out. Now she can't answer the phone. Yes, sir. He told her to step out the vehicle. And she was just. She didn't say anything. He just got mad at her. Raya, stop crying. Raya. He just put the handcuffs on her, Dad.
So there's a reaction from the kids inside the car. A few more details for you jumping here, Francesca, just to get everyone up to date on how ridiculous this was. The officer stopped Washington. That's the woman who's 4 months pregnant, as you guys saw, for speeding. She was going 75 in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. However, the officer immediately produced his firearm, as you saw, pointed at the fearful mother after pulling her over, saying she had taken too long to stop. But the pregnant mother, who put her hazard lights on, slowed down, indicated that she was waiting to stop at a well-lit area for the safety of her kids in the back seat. This is a practice that's actually encouraged by the police department themselves. I have heard that before, and I'm glad that this article pointed that out. It wasn't just some one-off thing that I'd heard. By the way, his superiors agree with that tactic. Agreeing with the mother's decision to pull over in a well-lit area, Gordon Smith, the Bradford County Sheriff, said she explained to him she's flashing lights to get to a well-lit area. Because you know, when you run from the cops, you put on your hazards. More. That's what I want my wife to do, is what this Bradford County Sheriff said. That's what I want my daughter to do. That's what I want my neighbor to do if you feel unsafe. The problem is the picture in the head of the daughter, the wife, and the neighbor don't look like Ebony Washington. She said that she feels like this anger and aggression was racially motivated. She goes, and then in response to that, this is what more deputies had to say. This is not a racial situation at all. That's what Brad Smith said at a local outlet about this altercation, adding that DeSue himself is a man of color, because that changes everything. There was just some level of not responding to his training and continued conversations about how he was handling situations, and he wasn't adjusting to that. Sounds like he's got a history with having anger issues, and he was on his last, I guess his last leg. This was gonna be the last straw, so finally, of course, he had to resign. Francesca, I could go more about this piece of garbage, but before I call him names that I'm not allowed to call on air, what are your thoughts?
This is endless, just the amount of humiliation, the amount of daily degradation that especially Black Americans have to deal with from the cops. I mean, there you see it, right? 3 kids, she's pregnant, and he can't treat her with basic human decency. And I think, you hear her say a couple things that basically address his implicit bias, his racism, which are things like, and his sexism, right? My husband told me not to pull over on a dark street, which is trying to get him to reason with her as a human being by using her husband, right? To say nothing of, and I have 3 kids, I'm a mom, oh my God. And then she also says, look, I have a master's degree. Like I'm an educated woman. And look, I don't blame her for bringing out those pieces of honestly facts about herself to basically humanize herself. And she's being incredibly calm the entire time. He's the one who's freaking out. Here she has to be like, look, this is why I did what I did. Here's who told me to do it, my husband, and I have a master's degree. I'm an educated woman, I understand. And she's completely complying. The only thing she's not doing is I don't know, what does he want her to do? Cry, go crazy? Probably so that he can justify more violence and himself going crazy.
Yep, he finds something to get ramped up about, because he's roided out or something, and he got into some fight back in 7th grade and he got his ass whooped. That's the problem with folks like this. They never get rid of something that just has them and has their pride and their ego suppressed, and they have to try and find ways to utilize it. And this is just one of those cases here. So this is my last thought on this. This is why when folks say, hey, Black Lives Matter, or hey, how about you stop being so aggressive? Because in this situation, she's not a real human. Or people watching this be like, well, she should have pulled over immediately if you're disagreeing with what happened. Yet he's the one screaming with a gun out. And she, with a gun pointed at her, has to come up with ways, we've said this in another story, has to come up with ways to make sure she doesn't get shot in front of her 3 kids and with her baby inside of her. Crazy how that works. She has to be the calm one, and he can lose his mind. He's got bulletproof vests, backup coming, multiple guns, tasers, weapons all around his waist. But he's got to be afraid for his life, while someone else who has a gun in their face has to explain why you shouldn't kill me. I'm sorry, beg for your life. Call him sir. F that guy. And any sirs or respect that he wishes to get from this. And when he goes down the street to the next police station in somewhere in Florida and gets the next job and does the same stuff, maybe he'll actually shoot someone next time, and then he'll be in court saying, I was fearing for my life. Yep. Which, by the way, if you heard while he was screaming at her, I'm okay, I got my gun on you. Try something, I dare you. He's thirsty for a shot on her.
Yes, absolutely. Who's de-escalating that situation? Like just play that for a 5-year-old. Who's
Do you think her
de-escalating the
17-year-old
situation?
kid is gonna trust the cops after this? Do you think her 5-year-old over the 3 to 4 to 5-year-old is gonna trust cops after this? Do you think every time they see some flashing lights and they see this idiot screaming at their mother for that long, that when they're older they're gonna go, that's a good guy?